Hijo, homework de Andrea.
What?
Oh, Andrea. You say you're going to put something.
Okay, so if there are staples, ooh, I took my stapler out of my bin. All right, just make sure your, oh no, Miss Williams has one tomorrow.
What can I?
All right, so I want your corrected copy on top, your old copy on the back, okay? That's how I want to see it. Your corrected copy on the front, your old copy in the back. Okay, good. And then Andrea didn't have her old copy? So she did comparison of what she did. All right, cool, so we have that. Alrighty. Okay. So everybody has a book?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so did Miss Jen go over these with you guys?
Yeah.
She did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because remember you guys were like, what does that look like, those fruits, when we read them in the chapter? All right. So this is what they look like. They're actually very similar, but the casing is, they're similar when you peel them, right? But the casing is different, right? El cascarón, the peel, is different. A lychee? It's that's a Japanese fruit.
¿Qué es longueuil? I like it.
And they almost taste like, no, it's actually really tasty.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to think. They taste like,
they have juice.
like plums a little bit.
A rambutan is so good.
Yeah.
I eat them at Guatemala. I go, Miss.
You've had them before? Okay.
Sometimes
Well, for those of you that haven't had them, this is what they look like when they're in the casing, when they're in the peel, and when they're unpeeled.
Because sometimes my mom make bread and I go steal them to eat myself.
All right. Yes, Shayla, thank you for raising your hand.
A mi mamá le engañaron.
What?
Le dijeron de que eso era una
Okay, well, you could tell me that story later. All right, so
cookie.
the other fruits that we talked about was a guanabana. And this is one of the frogs, I want to say it's the national frog of Puerto Rico. Like it's the national animal of Puerto Rico, right? Because you only find these frogs in Puerto Rico, and they're tiny. Look at the guy's fingers and look how little the frog is.
So cute.
It's called a coqui, but it's really loud. So in one of the chapters that we read, in chapter 14, remember they said they could hear the coqui at night? And it goes coqui, coqui. Like it sounds like it's like, so that's why they call it coqui, because it almost sounds like that's what it's saying when it's doing its little. Huh? Yes, baby.
The little cookie inside.
Yeah. When you guys were learning about rainforests and stuff? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that's one of it's native to the rainforest in Puerto Rico. Okay. So we already went over vocab. Did you guys go over these vocabs?
No.
Commotion and jukebox when I was gone?
No.
Okay. We don't necessarily have to fill it out right now. Just listen to the definition as I go over it, okay? So, commotion. Commotion is when there is a lot of excitement, a lot of noise happening, and sometimes it comes with a little confusion, right? So there was a lot of commotion outside. Sometimes when there's recess, we can say there's a commotion outside. Or maybe when people start cheering, people are going to walk by the cafeteria when you guys are doing your talent show, and they're going to be like, what's that commotion in that room? Because people are going to be like, woo, you know? A commotion, when there's a lot of noise or excitement. And often it comes with a little bit of confusion, because it can be a little chaotic. A jukebox is like one of these machines, maybe you've seen them or not, at restaurants, where you go and you put like $1 or a quarter in, and then you can pick the song that it plays. These are old school, so before you guys had Spotify and phones and you could pull up whatever song on YouTube, they didn't really have that. So they had these machines that they would put all the different records in, and then you could see what records were in the machine and what song it would play, and you could pick a song to play. So when they went to the chinchorro in the chapter yesterday, Remember somebody played some music on the jukebox? Do you remember them mentioning that? So that's basically what it would have looked like. They had a machine like this at the chinchorro shop, and they were playing music, right? That's when Marcus and his mom went to go talk outside. Remember that? Okay. So we talked about a shack that they went into. So remember the shop that they went to go have the coconut drink in? Right? It was called a shack. This is basically what a shack might look like. It's a little house, nothing too big. Right?
Like that in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Carefree.
So a way of using the word in a sentence would be deep in the rainforest, we found an old shack. We saw this word in our chapter yesterday.
Carefree.
Carefree, do you guys remember what carefree means?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
When you would say there's something they would bring.
That's a good guess. It is an adjective. Marcus was saying his mom was so carefree in Puerto Rico, right? That she was worry-free. She didn't care about anything. She was enjoying life without any stress. When you're carefree, you are enjoying the moment without being worried, right? No es que no te importe nada, but like nothing seems that important. You're gonna just enjoy the time, right? So at the beach, the children played in a carefree way. Do these kids look worried?
No.
Do they look stressed out?
They feel happy.
They feel happy, carefree.
Excited.
Synonym. What's a synonym again? The words that are what?
Similar.
Words that are similar. So, all right. So not chapter 15. We read chapter 16, sorry. Okay, so let's go straight to our race paragraph. So, before we start writing about chapter 16, okay, we are going to go over our race paragraph criteria for success. So, we haven't written a race paragraph since, well, you guys did write race paragraphs on your leap test, right?
Yeah.
This one's going to be easier though, because it's not a whole essay, it's just a race paragraph. So we can write our thoughts about what we learned in chapter 16 about Yosef. Okay? How many sentences does a race paragraph have to be?
4. 3.
Minimum 3, but it can be up to 4. Right? So, right, at the beginning we're going to do what? Okay? So, your race paragraph is going to be worth 10 points. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 points?
10 points. What I'm going to be looking for is that you're doing these things. And this list is on the back of your page. Okay? So if you need to look at it, it'll be on the back of your page.
We have homework today?
No, not today. I'm going to give you guys a free day.
Yay!
But if you didn't bring me your old quiz, I need you to bring it. Stop doing that because I don't want you to fall. Alright, so when we do a restated answer, Maria, what do we have to do when we restate an answer? What's the first checkpoint that we have to do?
Restate that.
Maria?
No, when you restate, you take out
Read what it says, bro. What are we doing?
restate it.
Andrea, what are we doing? Restate keywords and then?
Answer the question correctly.
And then you're answering the question correctly. Alright, and then what do we have to make sure we do when we do that?
Use capital letters.
And what else, Kaylee?
Use the punctuation.
So you have to make sure if it's a question mark. If it's a period, you're not usually going to use a question mark in this part, but you are going to use probably a period, okay? Once you have your answer. And then we're going to do cite evidence. When we cite evidence, Kaylee, what do? Do you make up stuff?
No.
No. What do you have to make sure you include when you do the evidence?
Evidence from the passion.
Alright, so, Shayla,
Huh?
the evidence has to do what? What do you have to do with your evidence? Your evidence, can your evidence just be any sentence?
Support the answer.
Your evidence needs to support this answer that you gave at the beginning. Okay? Andrea, what do you need to make sure you have with your evidence? You have to make sure you have quotation marks around your evidence. You guys do this thing a lot where you put the quotation marks at the beginning, but then I don't know where your text evidence ends because you don't put quotation marks at the end. Make sure you have it in both places, okay? Okay? So then, I'm looking at you when I say that. And then you have to do what?
Use capital letters and punctuation.
And punctuation. So this is where your sentence 2 comes in, right? And then at the end, we have to explain how our evidence supports our answer, right? I think this is evidence that shows this because, right? We can start it as this proves blank because blank, okay? And then again, don't forget your capital letters and punctuation. That's what I'm going to be looking for. You get 10 points on this paragraph, okay? So let's talk a little bit about what happened before we start talking about chapter 16. What is the question that we're answering? Who can read me the question? Andrea, go ahead.
How does Sergio feel about Marcus' share for his father? Who is evidence for the text to support the answer?
How does Sergio feel about Marcus's search for his father? So first let's think about it. Do we think Sergio is annoyed or upset with Marcus for wanting to look for his dad?
No.
How does he feel? How do you think Sergio feels?
Good.
Mm.
Fine.
Those are all like first grade level words. Give me a more fifth grade explanation. I need more words in your answer.
Happy.
Because if you just say, Sergio feels fine, I don't know how I feel about that answer.
Happy? No, that's creepy.
Okay. Well, if we don't remember, what should we do?
Read.
So where should we go?
To paragraph 16.
To chapter 16.
16. 15.
Chapter 16.
Where?
Chapter 16. It starts on page 173. Excuse me.
Wait a minute. Nothing is said about it. I guess thank you.
So, I'll give you guys some help.
Okay.
There's some stuff about Dios Sergio on page 175. There's some stuff about Dios Sergio on page 178. Based on some of the stuff that you read, page 178, 179. Based on what you read, how do you think Dios Sergio feels? I'll give you a moment to read it. And actually, I would say the best page to read would be 178, 179. When you're done reading page 79, 179, give me a thumbs up. You should be reading 178, 179. should be finishing up page 179 at this point. Just don't spoil it. Great morning, I guess. Okay. So I should record everything. Alright, are we done reading page 79? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? Yes? Okay, so how do we think Sergio feels based on things? So this is where we make an inference, right? What is an inference? When we take it, we have an educated guess. Yo Sergio in this page isn't saying, I feel like this about helping you, right? He doesn't say that. But he does things that make us think, oh, he must feel this way. What do his actions in this part of the book, in this part of the chapter, tell us about how Yo Sergio might be feeling, right? About Marcus's search for his dad. Helpless? Helpless means like you have no hope.
Oh,
So maybe you're looking for a different word.
unhelpful. Huh?
That's not a word, but I can see how you think that.
Like helping Marcus find him.
Okay, what tells you that?
Because in the book we say that he's how Tío Pepe to go to his house that because the Adama told them that Tío Pepe knows where his dad at.
Okay, so Yo Sergio actually seems like he's wanting to help him, right? Trying to help him out. So I'm going to let you guys put down in writing how you would explain what Yo Sergio feels. Do you think, Maria said good, fine. I think you could choose better words than good or fine. What could he feel? What could he possibly be feeling? And it doesn't make, maybe it's not even a feeling word. Maybe we could say Yo Sergio feels like doing, and then explain what he wants to do. And then explain why. Why do you think he feels like helping? He feels like helping. Él se siente con ganas de ayudar. ¿Por qué? And then explain why. So, let's start with or restate the question. How would we restate this question? Who can give it a try? Andrea. Ooh, okay, let's try to rearrange some of those words. Tío Sergio. So we can't just say Sergio feels about Marcus. We have to take one of those words out. We have to take a few words out.
Tío Sergio feels great about helping Marcus because.
Did we hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, we were too busy writing. Let's track Kaylee. She's going to give you guys a little bit of help with restating that question. Well, if your restate doesn't sound like that, you might not get the restate points. So you need to be listening. Go ahead.
Tío Sergio feels great about helping Marcus for his study.
Okay. Tío Sergio feels blank about Marcus's search for his father. Okay? So instead, are you going to put blank on your paper?
No.
No. That's where you give me a few words explaining how he feels.
Helping? No. Yes.
Feels. Maybe he could feels helpful or feels like helping.
¿Cómo feel helping? I don't know.
How do you spell help?
Actually, I know how to write help.
find evidence. I'm not going to tell you which evidence to choose, because there's a few sentences in here that tell us, that can go with your answer of how Theosexual feels. But what I want you to do is pick evidence that you say, this tells me that Theosexual feels this. Okay?
I know Theosexual feels because we just can you read again?
You want her to give you the restate? Haley, will you help her with the restate one more time? Listen closely, pay attention, look at yours.
Theosexual feel blame about Marcus's search for his father because.
Good. Theosexual feels blank about Marcus's search for his father because. So make sure that the evidence you choose goes with your answer.
I have a question.
So you're going to have to tell me this evidence shows and connect it back to what you said about how he feels. Okay, so now find evidence that showed you that. What made you think this is how you feel? Good. So here, use your own words. What does he do? In your own words, summarize it a little. What does he do that shows you that he's wanting to do this? And then find evidence, find the evidence that shows you that. And actually, tear this out when you're done, because I'm collecting it today.
So I'm going
Make sure you guys put Theosexual feels with an S at the end. Not apostrophe S, just S. Because that's present tense. How does Theosexual feel?
About Marcus's for his father.
Feels helping. Maybe we could say feels like helping. Helpless means that you feel like you don't have any help. And you feel kind of hopeless because you know when it's helping you and you can't do anything about the situation. Feels like helping, because helping is a verb. And right here when you say feels, the next thing should be a feeling, but because we're not doing a feeling, we've got to explain what he feels like doing. So then here, instead of about, you would just say, Marcus feels like helping Marcus with his search. So when you added the seed, don't waste all of it. You would just say, feels like helping. You had that part right. I would take the about out. Feels like helping Marcus, and then change this to with his search for his father. So what told you Theosexual felt like helping him? Now you find evidence in the text. Theosexual feels. That's why you say Theosexual feels like helping. Right? This isn't a feeling word. But maybe instead of a feeling word, we can tell what actions Theosexual feels like doing. So you would have to say Theosexual feels like helping Marcus. So here's what I'll say. If you can't find a word, Maria found a word for her, so hold a feeling that sexual feels. But if you can't think of a feeling word, think of an act, like what actions does Theosexual feel like doing?
You have to put kind hearted.
Hold on. Is everybody just going to with this kind of question, it is a little bit harder to find a feeling word because we don't necessarily know how Pio Sergio feels, but we do see what he feels like doing, right? We do see what he feels like doing. So he feels like, does he want to stop Marcus's search? Does he want to help Marcus with his search? Does he want, so maybe we could say Pio Sergio feels like helping Marcus with his search for his father. If you're not doing a feeling word and you're doing more of an action that he's doing, that's okay. What does he feel like doing for Marcus? You can answer the question that way too. So at this point, you should be working on finding evidence. You should be working on finding evidence. Wrapping up your answers and start working on the evidence. So, Pio Sergio feels like helping Marcus with his search. In Spanish, Pio Sergio se siente con ganas de ayudarle a Marcus con su búsqueda. Right? So Pio Sergio feels like helping Marcus with his search for his father. I have really bad allergies right now.
I hear it sick.
Like sniffling, yeah, I'm congested. So, let's see. Which evidence did you take? Why did that tell you that he's trying to?
So the mom was Marcus said that Marcus said to Pio Sergio that is fine to not find his dad because Sergio already did a lot for him, and but Sergio estaba insistiendo to take him.
But this doesn't show that he's insisting. The reason why I say this is because I noticed something in the evidence. You're trying to do things so fast, but you're not taking the time to find evidence that really actually supports your answer. Right? I can give you a new sheet, but I think you can find better evidence in this. Because this doesn't really tell me that there's like he was trying to find evidence. I think there's better dialogue in the story, in this chapter, that shows that there's like he was trying to help. Which one? Do you think you need to finish with the states? What are you trying to, so think about the evidence that you're trying to use. Okay? What are you trying to show? If you're trying to prove to me that there's something wants to help Marcus to make you happy, what was something that he did or something he said that told you?
He will keep finding, he will help him find his dad because he will help him find his dad.
Where is that? Cool, where is that? Where does it say? Whatever you want to find, we'll check whatever it is. Okay? Yep, we'll start. Feels like helping Marcus with his search because what? Why do you think he's helping Marcus with his search? See, what evidence did you pick? What makes you feel. Why do you think that's that? What does this tell you?
Because that celebrating is like being market because he had done the thing that he that and the page where you can like that the other thing of that. And he can go
Okay. Okay. What did you choose? Are you having trouble finding evidence? So, this tells me how Sergio feels about Marcus's dad. And he feels like, oh, they're good at them, he doesn't follow through with them. But you said that he feels like, what is something Sergio said or Sergio did that told you that he would be your own? What Sergio says he's trying to help Marcus. Because this doesn't really tell me that Sergio was trying to help Marcus search. So that's what you told me. Does that make sense? You'll find there's good stuff. There's more than one piece of evidence in chapter 178, 179. And I think you can find better evidence than that. Yeah, we'll give you this one. I'm going to give you guys, because we're doing a great job of looking for evidence, I'm going to give you guys another, let's say 3 minutes to put your evidence in. 3 minutes, you should be working on your explanation. Okay? You guys are doing great. Why did you erase so much of it? What did it say? Sergio is what? Okay. Really? Do you know what evidence you're going to use for that answer already?
See.
Okay. Which evidence are you going to use for that? Okay. So you're going to use that one. Okay. So, you're going to
I won't be here by the time we get there, so you're going to love people and I know this is according to what he said that can I
say, with your evidence, well, you got great evidence, but I would say you don't have to all of it.
That's why I know this is according to what he said.
So that would be too little.
I know why you do these things.
So, I would say, what do you feel in this evidence is the most important things to improve? this is you saying what you say. Okay. So I would say go here. You're going to love nobody's house. And you said you want to say or you could just say so if you only use a sentence, that is okay. You're just going to have to really dive into and explain, because you're going to have to explain why Joseph sent this to workers.
If Theo said he was Marcus, he would say,
let me go back and ask, what is happening in this part of the conversation?
that I'm done, that Sergio is like saying to take them, but they was leaving Marcus to say that he was giving a lot for them.
Okay. Okay. I would think that's a good explanation. What I'm saying is, you just want to make sure you explain it. Now, if you're saying, if you're going to include the part of your work, because if you're doing a lot for them, then maybe the one about them not accepting the money is better evidence. Okay? If you guys even go, on to page 180, there's also some evidence there. Yeah, you're on the, I would say that's good evidence. Just your explanation has to be strong for that evidence. Okay? Done?
Yeah.
Okay, are you doing okay or you need a little help? You doing okay? Alright. If you're struggling with evidence, page 179 and maybe even 180 would be the best page to look at, okay? 179 going into 180. The conversation that they have, page 179 to 180. You don't need them in this point. Good, that's good. So while we wait, you can work on Lexia while we finish, okay? Or I would take one last look at it and just make sure your quotation marks are where they need to be, okay? Make sure you close your quotation marks, just double check. So, here. So, because you're quoting dialogue, what you need to do is when you're quoting the dialogue, you can use one set of quotations. It's kind of weird, but because you have dialogue between characters in your evidence, you want to put 1, 2, and then one quotation here. I can copy and put here. One quotation, Sergio says, interrupting my thoughts. Okay? The alarma said, okay. So here you don't need a quotation marks there. Okay? You need them. So remember, the quotation marks always go around what's being said. So here, because it's dialogue that you're quoting, you only need one quotation. The alarma said, your dad and him stay in touch occasionally. And that's the end. So, because this is the quotation around the dialogue, and then your quotation marks around your evidence. See that? The quotation marks are your evidence. Kind of tricky to do evidence that's on dialogue, but not impossible. Proves that you don't need that. Good. If you're done, take one last look at it and see, make sure if you hit all your check marks. Would you get a check mark for every one of these things? Because if not, Maria, sit up.
Yeah.
Check your criteria for success. Did you do all of the things? Because if you didn't, you're not going to get those. You're not going to get the 10 points anymore. So make sure your quotation marks are where they need to be.
Yeah.
Okay. page, not in page, on page. Good, I love that you're being specific. On page. Not passage, page. So if you're talking about this like here, you also needs to be capitalized. But this isn't telling you that he's taking this into account. It is telling you that he's doing something. What is he doing? In this part, he's not taking this into account yet. What did he say he's going to do? Go ahead, everybody say good white eye. ¿Qué dijo que usted va a hacer? What did you say he's going to do in our part? Okay, so let's be more specific in our answer, right? You're right, he does eventually say, I'll take you, but it's not until after he does what? And so we want to explain, because he's... Why does he